Okay guys, hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kai and today we are filming our 10th episode of the Let's Talk series. So I have, sorry, just adjusting the mic, all the dogs in here. So if you hear some chewing, Brody is thoroughly enjoying a toy. Bro. Hey buddy. Okay. Brody is thoroughly enjoying his toy. Sorry, guys. And Bella is just chilling. So, a couple things is, like I stated in my last video, I have my new equipment. I have a separate camera. Well, it's a webcam that's sitting on my tripod, and I use my computer as a viewfinder. So, if you guys catch me looking this way, it is because I'm just trying to make sure that I do not have a glare, 2, the quality of the video is up to standard, and 3, everything is just working correctly. So I'm going to try to do one last check before I get started with the video. So everything looks good, and I hope that there's not a glare. If there is, I do apologize. I just cannot film without my glasses. Another thing is I have my microphone here. See? And sometimes what I noticed is that I tend to lean forward a little bit, but the sound quality is fine. I just didn't want the mic to be in the video. I didn't want that to annoy anybody, but I hope the quality is good. This headphone is connected to my new microphone, and this is how I'm able to hear myself and make sure that the audio is also up to par. So that was a lot of information, but I just wanted to let you guys know why I might be doing things differently. I'm just trying to produce the best content and the best quality of content that I can. So, also, another note, if you catch me looking here but down, I have started writing notes for each of my episodes. Usually I just wing it, but I noticed that I'm a little bit more successful with myself if I have notes. So I have my iPad right in front of me, leaning up against my tripod, and I would just be periodically looking down to make sure that I stay on track with that, so that the flow of the episode can just like a wave. So for real this time, let's get into the video. So today I will be doing a review of the Lion brand Shawl in a Ball. And now I'm pretty sure this yarn has been out for a while, but this is my first time seeing it. So I picked some up, which I showed in my last podcast when I showed my stash enhancements, and I was super duper excited about working with it. So I finally just sat down and began to work with it. So like always, I am going to read the specifications about the shawl off of the ball band. So this colorway in particular is called Prism. It is 61% cotton, 34% acrylic, and 5% other fiber. It has stellina in it, I believe that's what it's called. It's just when I show you, I will show you what the 5% other fiber is. It is 150 grams or 481 yards or 440 millimeters. It is a medium 4 weight yarn. For knitting needles, they suggest a size 8 hook or a 5 millimeter hook. For crochet, they suggest a J10 hook or a 6 millimeter hook. And this is the color that it comes into. Sorry guys, hopefully you guys can see that. I'm getting a little washed out because of the sun, so that wasn't really true to color. It's a little bit darker than that. That was showing a lot pastel, but it is not a pastel color. And this is from Lion brand, and you are supposed to, one ball makes a shawl. So now that we have the specs out the way, what are you doing? Lay down. Good boy. You stop it. So now that we have the specs out the way, this is what the yarn is looking like. Like I said, the camera is kind of washing it out. Oh, there we go. If I hold it a little bit farther this way, it shows it a little bit better. So it has blue, greens, purples. It has oranges in here. And this is pretty true to color if I hold it back here. I know you guys probably want a close-up review, but it's not showing the actual color. And it is kind of variegated, but kind of striped as well. This is the design that I decided to do. It is just a simple triangle shawl, see? And I decided to crochet this particular project. Usually I will try to do a crochet in a knitting swatch, but I did not get to the knitting swatch yet, so it is crocheted. And instead of a 6mm hook, I went with a 6.5. Focus, there we go. A 6.5mm hook to create mine because I wanted a more airier and like more flowy design, and I think that I really accomplished that by going a hook size up. The pattern that I'm using is one that I found on YouTube from Annoo Crochet. I will link everything in the description box below if you would like to grab your own shawl and a ball. I got mine from Walmart. I don't remember the price, but I don't think it was more than $5. And then I will also link the video to which I learned how to do the granny stitch triangle shawl in the description box below. So let's just talk about the pros of the yarn. So the yarn is super duper soft, guys. What made me really continue working with this shawl was how soft the yarn is. I mean, I could just snuggle up with this and sleep on this. I really appreciate that because it can get a little annoying and a little taxing working with a yarn that does not feel good in your hand. And personally, sorry, that will delay a project for me. For me, a project will be delayed if I do not like the feel of the yarn. Also, I would like to comment, the color combinations are beautiful. The other one that I got reminds me of like a fiery sunset, and excuse me, I know for a fact that when I get ready to crochet with that one, it's going to create such a beautiful color combination. So I want to thank Lion Brand so much for giving us so many color variations and for creating a yarn that, you know, sometimes we don't want to go out and buy multiple skeins of yarn. So with this, it's perfect if you just want a one skein project, you just want it to work up quickly and you want it to be done with. This would be the perfect purchase for you. The yarn is also extremely easy to work with. Sometimes a lot of yarns I have issues with it slipping off the hook. I have not had that much of, ooh, sorry. Alarm. Sorry guys. I have not actually had that much of that issue. I think it has to do with the way that the yarn is twisted. So if you guys can see, sorry, it is kind of crinkled. I want it to pick up the yarn, but it wants to pick up, there we go. It is kind of crinkled and twisted. So it was a little bit easier for my hook to catch it, and I really appreciate that because sometimes crocheting with a large hook and thinner yarn, it can be really hard and really fiddly. So I really appreciate Lion Brand for taking that into consideration and putting a little kink into the yarn to make it easily catchable with the hook. So the cons of this yarn, which I have noticed happens with a lot of Lion Brand's yarns, is that sometimes when you're crocheting there will be some really thick parts of the yarn, and like here is a good example. So this, no, don't pick up my face. It just wants to pick up my face. Okay, it's not going to be easy to show you. This webcam has autofocus, but this part right here, this particular stitch is focus sorry guys, is extremely thick compared to the other parts in the shawl. And if that happened at maybe 1 or 2 places, I really wouldn't have an issue. Sorry, but that is something that is consistent throughout. I will get a lot of areas that are super duper thick. And I mean, it's once you create the project, it's really not all that bothersome, nor is it noticeable. But for me, I like when things are consistent. I just like a little bit of consistency. And for me personally, you know, it's something that I think they should really work on. I had the same issue when I was crocheting and knitting with the Lion Brand mandala. I just think that their thinner yarns just tend to have that issue, because I've worked with regular Lion Brand yarn, and even their homespun yarn had that issue. So if you are someone like me who's like, oh, that's a little annoying, just take that into consideration. If you're not bothered by it at all, then just simply ignore it. Also, I would say that this isn't something it's, how do I describe it? You don't expect to be instantly gratified. So if you want something that works up quickly, now I did say it works up quickly, I meant to say it works up nicely. If you want something that works up extremely quickly, you're going to want to adjust the pattern. You're going to want to pick a pattern where maybe you're skipping some stitches. Maybe you have the a lace design, not a lace, what is it called? A mesh design, like this design on the packaging, and maybe that will work up a little bit quickly. For my design, it's getting there, but I'm using it most as like a stress reliever, so I'm not really concerned with it working up quickly. So this, because of how thin it is, you will be taking up a little more time to make it, but at the end of the day, it's going to be a gorgeous project. Lion Brand really hit the nail on the head with this shawl and a ball yarn. So my final thoughts are that I sincerely love this yarn. I love the way it feels. I love the many different color combinations, and I love working with it in general. I think Lion Brand really did a great job with coming out with this shawl and a ball, and I really like that this is just a one skein project. When it's done, it's done. If you want to add, you can, but for the most part, it is made to be a one skein project, and I can really appreciate that about Lion Brand. Now, I need to get some better knitting needles, because I do like working with circulars, and the circulars that I do not have for the recommended size. So once I get the recommended size knitting needles, I will be doing a knitted swatch as well, and then we will revisit this with a knitted version of this Let's Talk. So Let's Talk Part B, the knitted episode, Part B, and the knitted swatch I will showcase and talk all about. So I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in to this episode's Let's Talk. I hope all my new tech changes aren't too annoying. Once I smooth out all of the kinks and all of that, I promise it will be better. You know, I apologize about the leaning and the looking down, and I do apologize about that. But I hope this video encourages you guys to go out and get this shawl and the ball if you haven't tried it already. And again, I will link the link to where I got this from, Walmart, and I will also link Annoo Crochet's video on how she did the granny stitch triangle shawl. So thank you guys so much for watching my video, and I'll see you in the next one.